Hey, today I get to introduce you to one of my biggest partners in crime, Diana Porter. For over 20 years, we have been friends. She has been an incredible supporter. A lot of the stuff I do, I probably wouldn't be able to do without her help and support and energy. So I'm very excited for you to meet her. She is a model, she's an actor, she's a voiceover artist. She's a mom, and I would also say she is the definition of professionalism. So I'm really excited for you to meet her because a lot of the stuff I do, I couldn't do without her. So please welcome my friend Diana. One of the things I love about you and admire and now look for in like everybody else I work with is since day one you have had a drive. You have been grinding since I have known you, and I have realized now that that grinding part of your brain is what I look for in everybody I work with now. I might embarrass myself real quick that when you first started out as an actress in your career, you very quickly started talking about your career. And I didn't get that. I think there was part of me, whether it was imposter syndrome or whatnot. I was watching you be very confident that even if you are taking your baby steps, it was your career. You were an actress, even if you were on rung one of the ladder. And if I'm going to look back at it, I never had the guts to do that for myself. And so I was very late to that train that you were on, and that I have now realized and now put out to everybody else. Like, you are not a wannabe creative. You're not a wannabe artist. You're not a wannabe writer. You are a writer. You are an artist. You are a blah, blah, blah. And so, like I said, you had that since day one, and it took me a while to figure out the power of that, and realize that the attractiveness of that, like that's why you're one of the people I will work with till the day I die, because before you were a professional, you were a professional. So that's how I'm going to start all of this up, of the things I admire about Diana and why I will go to the ends of the earth to work with you and support you till the end. So now that that's out of the way, I am curious about, so we've known each other for, we're knocking on 20 years if we haven't already crossed that path.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious about Diana, the performer, before our orbits intercepted, because I know you now as an actress. I know you sing. I know you do all of this creative stuff. But what was Diana doing before we met?
I always loved the arts, and God bless my parents. They were always very supportive to a point. They didn't really see me having a career in the arts. My father always thought I would go into marketing, and he was right. For a while I did work in marketing, but on the analytics side, I did math all day. But in school, I did the usual thing, but I kind of did like 5 people's usual things. So I was, in addition to non-artistic things, I was in the photography club and built the darkroom at my school. I was photo editor of the paper. I was head of the art club. I was in the drama club and in the plays, of course. I sang. I created a class of modern literature. Like, I worked with an English teacher so that as an elective, I could study modern literature as well as taking creative writing classes. And I just sort of was like doing all the things. And I never thought, oh, and also dance. I did a lot of dance. I was captain of my dance squad in high school. And I never thought twice about it. I was just like, yeah, this is what we do. And, I was also in debate club and other things that weren't necessarily artistic. And I got an award and a scholarship that my senior year because of it. That was called the Renaissance Man Award. And I wasn't even there to accept it. They had this big awards night, and I was like, I'm not getting anything. And then they were like, no, you need to come. And I was like, I'm going to a prom at another school. My mom had to go and accept this award for me. um, but I always I loved art. I love seeing the world through other people's eyes.
Hmm.
So experiencing other people's art has always been really fundamental to who I am, and creating and expressing myself has also been important to me. I think that it's a cornerstone of human nature that we want to be understood as individuals, and art is one way to accomplish that. In college, I didn't do as much, but I still did drama programs, and I was cast in 2 different films. And this was in the before time. This is before things were digital. So that students were making films at all at a school with not a film program to be spoken of was impressive. Um, and I did a lot of painting, and there may still be a bed at UMass that the headboard, if you pull it away from the wall on the backside, is a painting that I did. It's not vandalism, it's art.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I
Intent.
just, and I always sort of had that, and it was always my thing. I only did it for me. I was never looking to sell it or impress anybody with it. It was just, I didn't know how not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we met, I was performing. Well, I wasn't really performing yet with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. When we met, you were with the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I was just kind of hanging out adjacently to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. But that quickly changed.
So unless I missed it, I wasn't. You made a lot of stuff, but I didn't hear a whole lot of spotlights going on.
Mm-mm. No,
You know,
I was not the star of the school play. I did not get the solo in chorus. I was photo editor of the paper, but there were 5 editors on the paper, and it was tended to be a lot more. I took on leadership positions because when I want things done, I don't wait for other people to do it for me. Like the class in high school, I was like, I want to read modern novelists. Can I get a teacher sponsor? And I was lucky to get one and make that class happen.
I was thinking that as well when you're talking about the dark room. That on a very grand level, you see an empty space. It's like we need this. We need this thing.
Yeah.
But then you've also apparently got the DNA that goes, and I will bring this into existence.
Yeah.
Do you know where that comes from, or is that just DNA?
I think a lot of it is from my mom. I realized recently that my mom, she does things for other people. That's just who she is. She was a social worker for many, many years, and she's in a lot of ways the matriarch of our family because she just considers it important to take care of other people. And she expects nothing in return. And she also put that expectation for me, for better and for worse. Sometimes it can be a little exhausting. But for the most part, I'm glad I'm that way. I'm glad that when I see a problem and I can see a solution, that I then put it upon myself to put that solution into action. I don't always see the solution, and I don't always have the skills or the abilities to solve whatever it is, but I'm glad that when I can, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, because I'm not standing here without your help. But I don't want to derail just yet because we're trying to stay on topic.
I am really good at taking people off topic.
Oh yeah, and then you put the 2 of us together, and who knows how long this is going to be. This will be a 3-part series. So when did the actor start coming about? Because again, there isn't a lot of spotlight. I don't. You were in the two films, but and maybe it's just because we're on surface level right now. I'm not hearing the drive that goes into being an actor. I'm hearing curiosity. I'm hearing that you enjoy bringing these things to life, but the drive that has gotten you here, if you had it back then, it sounds like it's a little muted.
Oh,
So
much more nebulous. This is my origin story, George. I actually have this.
yes.
Um, so I worked in a corporate setting until I had my child. And I thought that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom and that
Mhm.
was going to be great and fulfilling and awesome. And for many people it is, and many people are awesome at it. I am not awesome at it, and I didn't find it as fulfilling as I thought I would. I found it extremely challenging on an emotional level and just could not, I don't know, wrap my brain around it. I digress. Um, I, when my child was around 2 or 3 years old, my husband and I took a short trip well, short for me, like 2 or 3 days in Vegas while he was there for a conference for the whole week. And I was flying back alone because he was staying at the conference. And a very drunk businessman on the red eye with me seemed to think that I knew the secret to life and was asking me to give it to him. And I said, well, you got to figure out what makes you happy and you need to do that. Drunk dude. And then I kind of had an epiphany moment of, I'm not doing that.
Mm.
And I thought about everything I gave because I thought that once I had a child, I should give up everything, that everything I had to go into that child. And that's not healthy. And it took me 2 years to figure that out. But I did. And I thought about what I missed the most from the before times. And it took me about 3 seconds before I realized that more than anything, I missed acting.
Mm.
I missed acting so much. And I didn't want to just go back to the Rocky Horror Picture Show or go back to playing.
Yeah.
So when my husband, Tim, got back from the conference, I sat him down and said, okay, we have structured our lives so that we would not need me to have an income. We've diligently saved up our money and budgeted ourselves and bought a house in that we could afford and all of those things. So how about I try to have a career that I'm probably not going to make any money? I want to be an actor. And God bless, I have so many wonderful supportive people in my life, yourself included. But he was like, yeah, do it. And 3 months later, I think it was, I was cast in a large supporting role in a feature film.
All right. So 3 months in, you find yourself on this indie set.
Mhm.
Um, how was that as a learning experience? This is kind of like your first, okay, I'm in it.
Yeah, I learned a lot um, in so many different ways, good and bad. The producer director was a bit of a bully, and I
Mm.
learned how to stand up for myself and what to look out for and how to take care of myself and advocate for myself in a lot of ways. And I got to work with a named actor, and we were getting ready for our scene, and I was like running my lines and I was having trouble with them, and he was like, "You're very good. Stop worrying about it." And he was right. And once we were actually in the scene, the lines were there,
Yeah.
which is a secret I think helps me every time. Because when I'm Diana and I'm running my lines, I don't know them. The character knows them, and once I'm in character, they come. But nerves when you're just starting out are definitely a thing. Some people deal with them their entire career. And just respecting other actors' space and methods, because it was a not a large cast, but it was we were all working together. There was about 8 of us
Hmm.
that were on set together. So it's a pretty big scene with every character being a named character with lines.
Yeah.
And it was everything from a very serious method actor to people who were just like, oh, I just show up and I do my thing and it's fine. And seeing the variety in that. And then little things about set etiquette and getting your makeup done by somebody else and knowing to eat a really good breakfast because it may be a really long time before you get to eat again, but
Hmm.
don't drink too much water because then you might not get to pee. Things like that.
um, when you started, so kind of going back to what I was mentioning earlier, the calling yourself an actress, and I hope that's doesn't come across as glib, but like you planted that flag, at least to my ears, you planted that flag firmly. I don't know what was going on in your head. So I'm curious, when did that, and that's a choice, that is an absolute choice. When did you make that choice? So
It
like
didn't
you
feel it
you
didn't
know
feel like a choice.
yeah.
One of my teachers, very young, I want to say like 6th, 7th grade, um, we were having like a little school election and somebody was like, oh, are you going to vote for yourself? That's so weird that you're voting for yourself. And the teacher goes, if you can't vote for yourself, how can you expect anybody else to vote for you? And it was like, oh, and I like took that with me through life. And it's, if you're going to do something, do it.
Hmm.
Don't double guess yourself, don't undercut yourself, and you have to be confident. And especially in the arts where every artist faces so much rejection, if you're doing it as a professional career, there are going to be people who hate your work. There are people out there who hate Shakespeare. That's just how it is. Not everything is for everybody, but you have to believe in yourself or you're not going to make it. It's just as simple as that. And how could I, when I'm getting so much support from people,
Yeah.
it would feel disrespectful to me to be like, oh, I'm not really an actor. No, like, I'm putting the work in and all of these people are putting work in so that I can do this. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it's
But it took
not.
me a really long time to admit that I'm a model, and it's still weird to me to admit that I'm a model. I'm like, I'm a model. Like, I'm not like a model. I'm just like, sometimes people take pictures of me to sell things.
Which by definition is. Yeah. No, I hear, like I said, yeah, I guess I'm partially embarrassed that I didn't get it when you started down that path. I'm glad that you are one of the people that, you know, by just doing it. I don't think we ever sat down, and you had your hands on my face going, listen, but by doing it, um, you were showing the path. You were showing how it can be done. And then, so
So
you're
you
one of the.
didn't have like a big reason to believe in me. Like, we weren't super close friends in the beginning. We've become super close friends over the years, but back then, no, we were friends. And I wasn't a very good actor. I worked really hard to become a better actor, and I still have a long way to go. But in the beginning, why would you believe in me? I was just like, I'm going to do this thing. So,
Well, it's not even the believe in part. What you wonderfully put it together. Like, you have to believe in yourself before anybody else.
yeah.
That's it. The support is awesome, but you maybe you do. I know my brain can self-destruct and can take wonderful pleasantries and accolades and praise, and they are said with nothing but love, and then my brain gets a hold of it. It's like, oh, this can't be right, let me rearrange it
Mm-hmm.
to. let's knock it down. But and I've through this, I'll call it the journey of being a creator, and now in recent years trying to be a conscious creator, trying to understand how my brain is taking in information, and sometimes manipulating it badly. That, well, one, I'm not alone. Like, a lot of people have that, that the wrong voices in their head. Um, so if that's in our DNA, having part of your countermeasure being, I am an actor. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it's a paycheck. It doesn't matter if it's a cent, if it's got commas in it, or if it's a hot dog and a handshake. You are an actor.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it speaks volumes to how you present yourself, and then how you're perceived. Does that make
Yeah.
does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Totally. And I 100% hear you on the taking compliments and making them a bad thing. There is a Boston casting director that a year or two ago, I had myself convinced that when she told me I did a good job in an audition, it meant I did terrible. Like that was the math in my head. If she didn't say anything, I did okay. But if she said I did a good job, I was terrible that day.
God, we're the worst. We're the absolute worst, which is why, well, one, having a circle that you can trust,
Yeah,
and that circle isn't just fawning,
right.
it's a circle that can be
Give
honest
feedback.
with, yeah, like
Yeah.
honest, constructive, informed feedback,
I always think so my parents watch American Idol. I don't usually, but when I'm visiting them, sometimes I'll watch it with them. And when it's the audition part, and there's somebody who gets up and they are terrible, and I'm like, and not the ones who are obviously just trying to get on American Idol and they know they can't sing, but the ones who like they think they can sing, and I'm like, where are these people's friends? Why are are they letting their friend embarrass themselves on national TV? That's not nice.
right.
It's like, I don't think you would let me go on American Idol. Like, I can sing, but I'm not American Idol. You'd be like, Diana, you have better things to do with your time. And I would be like, you know what? You're right, George.
um as you've been going, so you you know what, give us, so like I said, you've been grinding and working, and it's something that I have noticed and appreciated, that for you the work has never stopped, that the work is the point for you. Again, big, small, indifferent, if you're involved, you're gonna give a shit
Yeah.
and you're going to care. I have been very lucky that I have been the recipient of that. I have put big spotlights on you, and I have almost embarrassingly asked you to do small things for me. Um, and never once have you hesitated to just help in any way to make the thing.
Yeah.
Again, no matter what size the spotlight. And that, again, goes to, well, that's somebody I'm going to work with day in and day out, who
It
just
helps
wants
that
to
all
help.
of your projects are really good.
You're,
That's definitely part of it.
well, thank you. I will try and take that compliment. It's very
You-
hard. But again, we've been doing, well, one, shit, this could go off into three different directions. I'll try and stay focused. We have been doing this long enough that clearly we're still going to do this. The world has given us more than enough reasons to pull a ripcord and just call it a day. But we're
Mm,
still here. The wall of guitars behind me, you know, I will be playing them until these hands don't work anymore. Because that's just how I'm wired.
yeah.
Clearly you're wired to do this. Um, and so since we do have that DNA and we do have the years that we do, I think we're very good at listening to somebody, watching somebody and go and kind of just figuring out what are they in for? What do
Yeah.
they want? You know, is this somebody I can grind with and work with and want to support? Like that's, to me, that's one of the most attractive things as I'm looking, you know, artists, whether it's an actor, whether it's a you know, illustrator artist,
Yeah.
is
And
just kind of,
I'm
yeah,
learning to take my time with that
mm, how's that?
because I want to support people. I want to help people. But there have been times where people have asked for my help on a project, and then because of my experience,
Yeah,
and then they didn't want to listen to any of that experience. And or they really, I mean, that's the bulk of it, because there'll be times where people are like, I want to do this big thing, and I'm like, that is great, but let's chunk that out, let's plan it out. And they're like, no, I just want to do it. And it's like, you know, that doesn't work for everybody. Some people maybe, but and I am learning to value my own time, and
yeah,
to recognize that I have a lot of projects I want to do, and I have a lot of projects I want to help on, and that if I am not selective, then then my time is wasted. That's the only way to put it, and that's terrible. But I can't be everybody's learning experience, especially when they don't want to learn.
yeah. And you know, the fact of the matter is, you know, we both have kids, we both have spouses we're still fond of. um you know, that free time when we were in our 20s, or just, you know, the before time,
Yeah.
it just flat out, it's less, you
Yep.
know. So, you know, beyond, yeah, the other thing that I appreciate from your stories is your ability to learn by watching other people. You don't have to step on a landmine to watch somebody step on and go, I'm not going to step, I'm going to remember that and not step on the landmine.
Yeah.
um and there's part of that our time, you know, yes, we're in one phase of our lives that our time is precious, but really everybody's time is precious, you know.
Yep.
And if we are
We
going to
all
be
do
here,
24 hours in a day.
yeah. And if, you know, we want to be good partners, and we want to be good parents, and we want to be good personal creatives, and then also, you know, again, one of the reasons I will, you know, fight for you till the end is we both kind of have that. Part of our job is to rise up and to put spotlights on other people.
Yeah.
And all of that takes time and energy, you know. So being selective with who you work with is important. It's also, what are you going to get out of it? Because what I kind of heard in your story is there is a continuing curiosity. You know, there is a continuing education that your eyes and ears are open to.
I love learning so much. It's like, that's, I kind of think that when I stop learning, that's when I die.
Mm,
Like that's when I give up the ghost. Because the more people I meet, and I'm so fortunate now to be getting the opportunity to meet people that have worked on incredible projects. And I worked with the cinematographer of Gladiator
mm,
right before I was directing my first film, and was like, "What's your advice?" And he was like, "Okay, here's 15 minutes worth of advice. Let's chit chat." And on the same production, a producer who works with Ridley Scott, I mean, he's like invested time for me. He read my script and gave me feedback and pointers. And I am so beyond fortunate to have that direct one-on-one experience, and also get to be on set watching Greta directing Little Women, and seeing the collaborative nature of her directing.
yeah.
And and getting to just, I didn't get to speak to her, but I got to learn from her. And that's amazing. And I'm so, so glad I get these opportunities.
Yeah, and when I was talking to Tim, your husband,
Oh, yeah.
and I will admit right now I'm not sure which order all of these are going to be airing in. But one of the things he either did or is about to talk about is that all of these are things that we have learned and we're not going to lose
Yeah.
anytime soon. Like it's in our heads. They're burnt in there for the next scenario. We have that background. Like we have learned a thing and it will always be with us.
Mm.
Whether you're directing it or you're a player in it. And that's again, that's the skill sharpening is stuff that never goes away, especially if you're looking for it.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about real quick. So part of the reason we're doing this Kickstarter and we're doing the audio read through of Baby is because I have a lot of artist friends, actor, voiceover friends, and COVID fucked everything up. What's it like being a
Yeah.
grinding working actor right now?
It's tricky. So previous to the pandemic, things were going really well for me. I was just signed with Abrams A3 agency in New York City. And I was going down regularly for auditions. The day before everything shut down, I was actually at a callback.
Mm.
And I love Model Club. My Boston agency is also fantastic, and they send me steady work. And I would generally be doing 3 to 5 auditions a week, working a few times a month, and that's in a variety of different ways, both commercial, TV, film, modeling, voiceover. And I also had some creative projects of my own where I was writing or directing. Um, and then the pandemic happened and everything stopped. Um, there's no way to film right now, really. So auditions stopped. And the word kind of went out like, now is a great time to work on your social media, but I'm not like a huge promote myself on social media person. And on top of that, creatively, with people dying everywhere, it was really hard for me to write anything. Like everything just felt stupid. It's like,
Yeah.
what am I? And I tend to write very political scripts and I tend to lean towards dystopian. And I was just like, well, I mean, it's no fun doing dystopian stuff when you're living it.
Yeah, how are you
So,
gonna out dystopia Tuesday?
yeah. Do I write a utopian script now? I don't know. What would the conflict be in a utopian script? This is weird. Um,
I got some
so,
ideas.
so I I struggled for a while, and then it's like, okay, I need to stop beating myself up for not being able to work when there's actually no work. And I started, really cleaning my house really thoroughly and baking bread and brownies and other baked goods. I created a whole reading nook. My husband calls it the artist loft in my attic. It's lovely and relaxing up there. And I really kind of just put into me a
Mm-hmm.
bit, which I think it was a good time for self-care.
Yeah.
And now with the Black Lives Matter movement ramping up, I've been investing a lot in that. I also did some work with a charity that makes face shields.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent some time doing that because that makes me feel good, being part, as we were talking about earlier, being part of the solution. So I've been doing those things, but now Voiceover is definitely starting to pick up because when they have stock footage of a family playing inside near a window, they need to have somebody saying, "We know things are hard right now." So
How
I'm that person.
how many times have you had to
I haven't yet.
say
I haven't. Um, Luckily, the ads I've been have been more product based and less platitude based,
all in
which
this together? Yeah.
which I'm very grateful for. And auditions are starting to pick up now that small crews can work. So commercial auditions are back on the table, and I'm getting to talk about carpeting and things like that again. But I miss film and TV work so much. Like almost every night, I have a dream about being on set for a movie. Almost every night. I take acting classes regularly, and they've just moved over onto Zoom now. So I've had that. So at least I get to kind of play, and I get to take on a character, and it keeps the skills sharp. I When I started acting, memorization seemed difficult,
Hmm.
and over the years, it has become easier and easier and easier because I've become more confident in it. And then when I had a month off from memorizing anything and I went back to it, I was like, oh, I'm losing my edge. I can't learn an 8-page script in 15 minutes anymore. Okay, back to work. Because there are artistic skills in acting, and then there are some just skills
Yeah.
in acting. And yeah, I was losing that one, but it's been really great, and it's really fun in class because you get to do characters you would never get to do. The one I'm doing right now, she is a 50-year-old nun, so maybe I will, but not this year, I don't think.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad that this is going to help in some way. I know our conversations just, our conversations usually are about 15, 20 minutes of us just like bleh, of everything that's going on. But what I've really appreciated is at some point we start talking about something creative, making something. And those have been absolute life preservers as we've been going through this.
You have
So,
been so crucial to supporting me artistically and guiding me artistically as I make my own projects, and also in my career, just like keeping me on track. And I remember specifically one lunch conversation at a Wendy's, of all places,
dude, Wendy's
where
has kept me alive in isolation. So, shout out to Wendy's, the good Wendy's.
the good Wendy's, not bad Wendy's, they, you just let me like spin my gears for 10 minutes until I was like, so I guess I just need to go do the thing. And you were like, yes. But knowing how to do that is a skill, and I appreciate that I have you to let me talk myself into things.
It's absolutely. There's, you're one of the, I don't know how to put it. But you're one of the ones I just want to fucking see succeed,
Me too.
what a coincidence. Like I said, it's that grinding, nothing has been handed to you. Um, as somebody who got into his career that is, been paying the mortgage late, I think there will always be a soft spot for me watching people come to a passion later
Yeah.
in life. Um, and so, just finding that, just that first kernel of finding it and then pursuing it. And then you have been an inspiration and a teacher, whether you knew it or not, of how to pursue that, and as far as I'm concerned, how to do it the right way.
Can I tell
Um,
you how many times I have kicked myself for not starting sooner, which isn't healthy, but not this did not help at all. There's a casting director in Boston that when she met me and saw me perform for the first time, she goes, "When were you?" "When I was cast in the fighter." I wasn't acting yet.
Fighter 2?
But for the most part, I'm glad I started when I did, because if I hadn't, then I may not have a child
Yep.
at all, because it's really hard to have a kid when you're an actor.
Yep. Yeah. I want to leave on one thing. So we're going to go back to the comic real quick. So part of the idea of Baby is, for me, it was watching my son learn to walk, and the idea popped in my head, that he is so bad at walking. Maybe all these monsters destroying New York City and all that, it's not that they hate New York City, they've just never walked on land before. So I know I'm just dropping this at you, but I'm very curious. Do you have any memories of your child walking badly, or just watching him develop?
Specifically, I remember that whenever he would fall, both Tim and I would go, "You're okay, you're okay." And then he would when he would fall, he would look up and go, "I'm okay." And it didn't matter like how badly he fell. Like he was a pretty tough kid back then. And yeah, he would like face plant and look up and be like, "I'm okay."
I always felt like Logan, I always thought it's like Logan walked like the ground owed him money. Like there was it's a blast. It's a blast to see him now. Just kind of, especially like running. He's just like this gazelle type of thing. But God, I remember those days where it was just heavy and awkward and loud for this little guy. He made a lot of noise.
Interesting side point. Today I realized that my child's feet are larger than mine.
And he's coming for you. He's coming for you, height wise.
Yeah, it's getting really, really close, and I have to buy him basically all new clothing, and he's going to grow out of all of it before we're out of isolation.
Togas for everybody. Just keep it simple. Thank you again, not only for this, but again, I am not where I am if it isn't for your support, whether it's in front of me or behind me. So thank you so much. And thank you again for jumping into another creative endeavor of mine. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward
anytime and always.
I'm looking forward to recording with you and looking forward to sharing this with everybody. If people want to learn more about you, if they want to follow you, how can they find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at Diana M. Porter, M as in Mary, and Facebook, Diana Porter. And my web address, my website is dianaporteractress.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And no doubt we will be talking very, very soon. Thank you. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And that's Diana. I hope you will go into the description and find all of her links and follow her. I think I've said it before. I think she absolutely shows how to do the work and how to do the work well and professionally, and I think those are some of the people that we absolutely need to support. So check her out, follow her, and give her the support that she has given not only me but everybody in our circle. So thanks again for watching, and we will talk again soon.